everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be reacting to two Share My Story videos and a Thomas and Friends parody. So this first one is called Replace Me with a Robot. So this should be very, very interesting. Sorry about the notifications that go off for my checklist or any other notifications, guys. I'm finding a way to make sure they get shut off. Because, yeah, I don't know how to do that on the settings on my phone. I'm still learning the Google Pixel out. Learning my new Google Pixel phone out. So anyways, let's get started.
And this story is about my completely immature boyfriend, Dennis. He was the kind of guy that never helped with the housework and who always sat on the couch playing video games while I was doing laundry. Of course, that made me angry. But whenever I asked him to help me out, he would say, "My job as an accountant is very stressful, and I'm making twice as much money as you do. So it's only fair if you do the housework."
Are you freaking kidding me? Like, I'm sorry. Are you kidding me? You know what, buddy? You could help your girlfriend. Like, I think that couples should share the housework. Like, me and Malk and I are not a couple, but Malk is my brother. But whether it's a boyfriend or a girlfriend, brother or sister, you share the housework.
To make things worse, my boyfriend was very insecure and always got jealous when I talked about other guys. One time, I just wanted to visit one of my coworkers inside the hospital because he had suffered from a heart attack. But my boyfriend Dennis grabbed my arm and told me to stay home because, according to him, only sluts spend time with other dudes when they have a boyfriend. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
My boyfriend Dennis was an idiot, and I should have broken up with him right then. But I guess I was scared of leaving him because I didn't know if I would ever find another boyfriend. However, one day he called me the worst girlfriend in the world. And then he criticized me, saying that I didn't know how to properly clean a house. I knew he didn't appreciate me at all. And that's why I told him I wouldn't sleep with him anymore until he apologized and finally started helping with the housework. However, he just got really angry and said I would regret this badly. Well, you'll never believe what happened next.
What happened?
A few days later, a huge package arrived at our home address to Dennis.
No.
I was desperate to know what it was. And when Dennis came home, he made a big deal about opening it in front of me. And when I saw what was inside, I was shocked. It was a female sex robot.
Oh!
Dennis smirked and
those things are real? I didn't think those things were real. Oh!
said, "That's what you get for not giving me what I want. Now I don't need you anymore because I have Anna." Can you believe that thing had a name? And when he switched it on, it started talking. She said things like, "Hello, Daddy. Are you ready to play?" "Oh, yes, baby," said Dennis. It was so creepy. That's when I realized that my boyfriend was completely mental.
You think?
I couldn't bear to be near him, so I decided to sleep on the couch that night. The problem was that the noise from our bedroom was really loud. When I heard the robot say, "Spank me, Daddy," I decided to pack all my stuff and leave him for good. I mean, you can't help someone like Dennis. And I think I deserve a boyfriend who...
And that's the thing with the relationship. That relationship sounds abusive. And if you're in a relationship like that where your boyfriend doesn't appreciate you, leave. You deserve a guy who appreciates you.
appreciates me and knows how to look after a woman. Anyways, after I left Dennis, he wrote a long post on Facebook telling everyone what a bitch I am. He lied about why we broke up, saying I betrayed him even though he was the one cheating on me with a robot. Well, he's very good at playing the victim, which is why some of my friends believe the lies he spread about me, and they even wrote messages telling me I was a terrible person for cheating on Dennis. Well, I don't care about losing those fake friends. I only regret that I was staying with Dennis for more than 12 months. That was really dumb. But maybe I shouldn't be too hard on myself because we all make mistakes.
Well, duh.
Either way, I hope you guys were able to learn something from my story. I hope you don't waste your time on an immature loser like I did. Please remember to subscribe.
Well, that was an interesting story. I will say I'm glad she left him. But the fact he replaced her with a robot was just completely weird. Like, ugh. Okay, this next one is called I'm Allergic to Water. Like, this I think is going to be interesting. Like, if you're allergic to water, how do you clean yourself? Like, how do you take care of yourself if you're allergic to water and you need water to live? So, what? This will be interesting.
Story is about my disgusting classmate Pablo. He always hit on me, saying things like, "Hey, pretty girl, too bad that your parents are poor. But don't worry, I can change that. Just come by my house tonight." It didn't matter how many times I told him to stop. It just got worse. And no one dared to put him in his place because his dad was a powerful politician. You see, I live in Honduras and our government is very corrupt. If you stood up to Pablo, he could tell his dad about it and you would be beaten up or worse. When I was 17, I suddenly developed a water allergy. The doctors didn't know why, but whenever water touched my skin, it burned like acid. I made an announcement to my class, telling them to be careful and not to throw any water at me because I'd get badly hurt. But of course, Pablo didn't believe it. He said, "Lily's just looking for an excuse not to have to shower anymore." Then he dipped his fingers into the water bucket and splashed water in my face. I screamed and desperately tried to wipe the water off my face, but it was too late. Small rashes came up all over my skin and it was so painful. Pablo still didn't believe me though and said I had created the rashes by scratching my face with my fingernails. Luckily though, after class was over, my crush Simon came over saying, "Sorry that Pablo treats you like that. He's a jerk. Are you okay?" "Oh, sure, I'm fine." Wow, I've had a huge crush on Simon for years, and this was the perfect moment to finally ask him out. By the way,
Feed the
do
cats.
you want to go to the beach with me this weekend? Oh, that sounds good,
Take
but I
dogs
already have
outside.
a girlfriend, so I can't. I'm sorry. Oh, stupid me. Of course he has a girlfriend. He was the perfect guy, after all. But 2 weeks later, our class took a trip to the beach anyway. I couldn't go into the water because of my allergy, of course, so I only played volleyball with my friends, and that's when Pablo came
Pablo
over.
didn't.
How are you? Fine. What do you want? Oh, I still think you're lying about your water allergy, so... That's when he pulled a water pistol from behind his back and squirted water right at my chest. Within seconds, my skin turned red and then I passed out. I woke up again in a hospital where my mom, who told me I had almost...
Oh my goodness, this guy is a complete jerk. Why would you do that? Like, I'm sorry, wow.
died. But guess who else was there? Pablo.
Oh no.
I wanted to scream at him to go away, but I was too weak. He said, "I'm so sorry, Lily. I really thought you were joking when you said you were allergic to water. I already told your mom that my dad will pay for your hospital bills, and if there's anything I can do for you, let me know." That piece of garbage. Did he really think he could just say sorry and let his daddy buy his way out of trouble? No way! I pressed the buzzer for the nurse and told her to throw Pablo out of my room. But a couple hours later, he sneaked back in, wearing a cheesy mustache. He also brought roses and apologized over and over again. I gotta admit, it was kinda cute to see how hard he was trying to show he was sorry. So I let him stay and we ended up watching La La Land on his laptop. Maybe he was a good guy after all. He even slept on the floor next to my bed at night because he wanted to be near me in case something happened. Well, and then once we walked out of the hospital together, he kissed me, and I let him. I mean, yes, he'd been a jerk, but people can change, right?
Yeah.
Our first weeks dating were awesome. We hung out at his big mansion that had a tennis court and a private cinema. But over time, his behavior got worse again. He pressured me into wearing sexy clothes and forbid me from seeing my friends. Sometimes he'd even order me to come to his house just so he could make out with me. And once he was done, he would kick me out again. I wasn't going to let him treat me like that. But when I told him I didn't feel respected and wanted to break up with him, he laughed and said, "I don't care how you feel. I promised my dad I'd marry you once I turn 18, and he hates it when people break their promises. So you better play along and be a good, obedient girl. And trust me, if my dad finds out that you dared to break up with me, he'll think you disrespected our family and he will take revenge on you. But don't you want to marry..."
Oh my goodness, this is completely ridiculous. Like, this guy's using his dad's power. Oh my goodness. Like, I'm sorry. If I were this girl, I would have punched him in the face. He'd be like, you know what? Nah, I would have ran. But you know what? That's me. I mean, corrupt governments, you know what? I've seen and heard about them, and you know what? Doing something like that could get you in trouble. But I don't know. That's just me, though. That's just me.
A normal girl who isn't allergic to water. You always complain that I smell bad because I can't take showers and have to use powder to clean myself. You are pretty and smart. Good enough to give my dad some grandchildren and good enough to entertain me for a while. So I stayed with him, even though he openly cheated on me. I would wake up in the middle of the night in our bed and find him making out with another girl. My life sucked bad until I got into university. Because guess who I met there again? My old high school crush, Simon.
Aww.
We got to talking and I asked if he was still with his old girlfriend. No, I broke up with her after she got drunk at a party and cheated on me. Oh, I'm sorry. But wow, she must be stupid to cheat on you. I mean, you are kind of the perfect boyfriend. That's when...
This essay was written by ChatGPT and...
Sorry about that, guys.
Boyfriend. That's when, without saying a word, Simon pulled me to him and kissed me. I never wanted that kiss to end, but I pushed him away, saying, Sorry, we shouldn't have done this. I'm still with Pablo, and if he finds out about this, you'll be dead. I don't care, Simon replied, and we started dating in secret. For a few months, I thought we'd get away with it.
Like Romeo and Juliet. Ooh.
But one night, Pablo asked me, I heard you are close friends with Simon from our high school? What? No, he's just in one of my classes. I hardly know him. But Carlos told me he saw you and him holding hands. I responded, well, maybe Carlos is lying? But I could tell Pablo didn't believe me. You know what I have to do now, and it's all your fault. I started crying, begging him not to hurt Simon, but Pablo pushed me away and ordered 2 of his dad's security guards to follow him. After they left, I rang Simon and told him to immediately leave our city or Pablo would murder him. Simon understood and persuaded me to come with him, so we agreed to meet up at the city bus station. But before I left Pablo's house, I stole 2 small Inca statues. I knew they were made of pure gold, so I hoped they'd helped me and Simon to start a new life. We met at the bus station and fell into each other's arms, kissing passionately. Then we took a bus to Mexico. The whole journey, I worried about Pablo coming after us, but we arrived safely. It took several
Oh, wait. Isn't there a good chance he could find them? I mean, if he does find them, what will happen?
months to sell the statues, but we got a lot more money for them than I expected. We bought a small house in Mexico, and soon I got pregnant and gave birth to our son.
Aw.
Everything was perfect until one night, masked men broke into our house and took me with them. To make things worse, I have no idea what they did to Simon and my son. They drove me to a small private airstrip,
no.
and that's when I realized that Pablo must have tracked me down and was now bringing me back to Honduras. I cried the whole flight, hoping Simon and my son were still alive. Once I arrived, I was picked up by Pablo. He had a big grin on his face and said, How are you, my sweetheart? He tried to hug me, but I pushed him away, screaming, What have you done to Simon and my baby? Instead of answering, he just smiled and told me to get into his car. I had no choice, so I did what I was told. When we arrived at his house, I immediately felt like a prisoner. Now that we are finally reunited, I'm gonna marry you as soon as possible. Let's say tomorrow. And before you think of saying no, remember, I know where your mom lives. I was devastated. My son and boyfriend were gone, and now I had to marry Pablo. As a sick joke, he even invited my mom to our wedding.
Load
She
dirty
was
dishes
very
into the
happy to see me
dishwasher.
marry into a rich family because she didn't know how miserable I was. The ceremony was weird. It was only me, Pablo, the pastor, and my mom. At the altar, I asked him, Why me? Why not some other girl? Oh, it's because the more you despise me, the more I feel attracted to you. Now shut up and kiss me. That was the beginning of my new life. I was a prisoner in a gilded cage, but actually it wasn't as bad as I had imagined it, because I was still allowed to go out as long as Pablo's bodyguards were with me at all times to make sure I wouldn't run away again. I drove around in armored luxury SUVs to go shopping, but it felt wrong spending Pablo's money because my country is so poor, and I hated living in luxury while there were so many kids begging on the streets. Of course, I also didn't forget Simon and my son. I promised myself I'd run away and find out what happened to them, to see if they were still alive. But then the worst thing happened. Pablo had gotten me pregnant.
Oh,
Now
no.
I was trapped. There was no way I'd run away and leave my baby with Pablo, but if I took him with me, Pablo would hunt me down again. Luckily, when I gave birth to my second son, Lucas, Pablo's dad, Emmanuel, started spending a lot of time with us because he wanted to get to know his grandson. And as I got to know Emmanuel, I realized that he was actually a very decent man. That's why I told him how his son Pablo was mistreating me.
Ooh, good
His
idea.
reaction surprised me. He said, Yes, I know that my son is an idiot. He doesn't know how to treat a woman.
I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting him to react like that. Okay. Wow, his reaction was perfect.
Right. But I promise that if you raise my grandson well, so he's nothing like his father, I'll make sure he gets my full inheritance. Then he told Pablo to never disrespect me again or he'd regret it. I knew I was part of the family now, and not just some bimbo anymore. Pablo's dad gave me my own house and the baby, as well as a monthly allowance. It's not a bad life, and I love Lucas dearly, but I'm also still thinking a lot about Simon and my first son. I've already tried to contact them, but either they are hiding or dead and in heaven.
That is so sad. I mean, she'll never find out what happened to her first son and Simon. I don't know why I almost said Pablo. Alright, this next one's called the Devious Diesel, so let's see what this is.
His true nature is the subject of much debate. Whether he is truly evil or just sharp with a soft core is always being questioned by the others. But whatever the case, no one can deny the horrible acts performed by none other than the devious Diesel himself.
Feed dogs and give them water.
Douglas arrived in the yard feeling very cross.
Oh dear, what's gotten into you?
It's that damn Diesel. He was being so crotchety that he caused an accident with our vans, which caused a 4-hour delay.
Why am I not surprised? That sounds typical for
Wait a
him.
minute, didn't I do this?
Indeed. But trust me, he's done much worse. Oh, I know the story about his arrival. Duck told me everything.
Everything, eh?
Well, almost. I'm still puzzled
Hang on,
as
guys,
to
I
how
think
he
I've done
got
this
sent
one
up.
already.
Then I've always... But he wanted to do a thorough investigation. And this is the story Gordon told.
I think I've done this one already.
Duck trundled sadly away, while Diesel smirked with triumph.
I think I've done this one already.
Disgraceful! Disgusting!
Despicable!
All right, you three. I will do a thorough investigation of the matter.
Okay.
You mustn't jump.
Sorry, guys. I had to make sure because this looked like the same one that I reacted to last time. You know, where Henry was framed for breaking the coaches. I thought
To
this was the same one.
conclusions and snap out. Remember that everyone is innocent until proven guilty. But we have proof. The trucks told us so. The Fat Controller was silent for a moment, then laughed. Do you silly engines really think you can trust the trucks? And he walked sternly away. The three big engines felt very offended. They did not like being disregarded so quickly. Diesel, on the other hand, was very pleased. Now Gordon, Henry, and James were on his side. That evening, Edward returned to the shed, and he was outraged.
I am truly disgusted at you three. The way you treated Duck was despicable. It was he who called us those horrid names, and the trucks too. Puh, Duck would never do anything like that. He may
Obviously.
have got the better of you when he first arrived, but I can assure you that it would be very un-great Western to talk dirty about others to, of all things, the trucks.
Well, who did it then? I don't know anyone who would be that much of a bully. Diesel was now doing quite well with the trucks. They loved hearing the false stories about Duck. The other engines were very impressed with Diesel. You do a wonderful job with those trucks. How do you get them to behave?
Oh, you know, I'm revolutionary. We Diesels have a few tricks up our grills.
Diesel was so flattered that he didn't watch where he was going. He rolled right onto the main line, feeling very pleased with himself, when suddenly...
Get out of my way!
Diesel jumped and ran off the line just in time.
Watch where you're going, dopey!
The trucks laughed and Diesel was furious. Dopey Diesel indeed. Don't take it personally. He's just having a bad day. He and Gordon are both in an argument again about a delay. I don't care whether he's having a bad day or not. I deserve much more respect than that. Just preposterous. James was right about Gordon and Henry. They were both very cross at each other.
Eat a healthy breakfast.
Because of you, I was late, and the passengers blamed it all on me because you decided to block the line.
The brake van had a faulty bogie and tipped over. What was I supposed to do?
You should have made sure the ruddy thing was suitable
Edward's
to
about
roll,
to
you big...
burst.
Well, you two, shut up!
Meanwhile, Diesel was angrily bumping around the yard. He began to shunt a long line of trucks. Dopey indeed, dopey indeed. First the Quacker, and now Henry too. Oh, how I hate steam engines. They're dirty, foul, smelly, then smashed right into several express coaches, damaging them significantly. They wailed and screamed. Oh, who did that? Who did that? Embarrassed, Diesel quickly reversed away.
And Diesel
as fast as
framed
he could.
Henry, so that's
But the
what
trucks had
happened!
seen everything and were laughing hysterically.
Oh my
Oh, you've done it now, boy. You're gonna get into serious trouble.
Knowing this would be true, Diesel quickly made up a plan. No, I won't. If anyone asks, you'll say it was Henry. He did it out of rage at Gordon.
Why would we do that?
Diesel grinned. Because I'll tell the Fat Controller how well behaved you've been, and he will give you a special reward. The trucks like this idea very much. And if you do tell the truth, that would be a pity, as I'll bash your innards out! The trucks jumped. Diesel worked away, laughing at his clever plan. But he was soon stopped by the yard manager. I just heard a massive crash. What happened? Diesel told the manager his false story about Henry.
Oh, no!
And he ran away before I could speak to him. He's gone. Boy, when he gets back, he'll be in huge trouble. This will cause massive delays for the express. And indeed,
Oh,
Henry
no!
the engines glared.
What's going on?
Oh, and that's where the other story continues. Oh, so that's where the other story continues. Okay. Now I see why this person wanted me to react to it. I thought it was the same story, and now it's like, and that's where the other one continues. Okay. That was totally worth it.
Load dirty dishes into the dishwasher.
Anyways, I better get started on my chores. I'll see you all in the next video. This is KBear101 signing out. Adios, everybody.